Welcome back to Big Mouth and welcome to the Big Mouth Daily Live. Remember, you can follow me on Twitter at Movies TV Mad. Now, back in the day, Gal Gadot's Wonder Woman was the darling of the female-led superhero film. And then we had Wonder Woman 84, and that took her down a peg or two. So now all my hopes for a great female superhero are Sasha Calle's Supergirl. So I'm very excited, and I think back to the unveiling of the young woman in question, where Andy Muschietti actually did this whole thing pretending he was still auditioning her. She had no idea. He asked her, "Can you fly?" She goes, "Well, if you want me to." She goes, "Well, of course I can't fly. Would you like to fly?" "Yes, of course I would." And then he shows her the costume, and she's unveiled as Supergirl. And she does something amazing. She cries. She says, "I got it. I got it." No controversial statements, no silliness. In fact, yesterday she shared a bit of fan art from, I think, a young man, which is very, very refreshing, isn't it? So I think she's going to be a great Supergirl, and I'm inspired by this young woman. I like the way Andy was talking. I don't know what the language was. Was it Argentinian? Was it Latino? I don't know if Latino is one language or if there are different languages. Sorry for my ignorance there. Sasha and Andy, I don't know. I'm sure you don't know all about the Greek language, but hey, maybe you can teach me your language and I can teach you Greek. That'd be fun, wouldn't it? So that would be, so I can't wait. I can't wait. Ronnie Dodge. Hey, Mick. Hey, Ronnie. A very good morning to you. What's the time? It's always fun to say the time. It's 1 minute past 11 here in Cyprus, 1 minute past 9 over in the UK. They're the only countries that matter. If you're American, I don't know your time because you're a weird country. You've got about 60 different time zones, haven't you? But I'm sure it's night time where most of you are, and most of you are asleep. Even though Bobcat said, "Hey, Mickey," earlier, I expect him to be asleep. Ronnie Dodge, 9 a.m. in the UK, that is confirmed. So yes, I'm very, very excited about Sasha Calle, Supergirl. And I think she's going to be the pride of the next DCEU, the new DCEU. So that's very awesome. And I can't wait to see her suited and booted up. I don't expect her to wear a skirt. I expect her to wear what really Melissa Benoist is wearing, which is the trousery kind of leggings or whatever they are. So I expect her to wear that. I expect her to have a longish cape as well. I do expect the black hair, which I'm absolutely fine with. I spoke briefly about her last night in my pre-recorded video. I came off my live and did a pre-recorded video. I wanted to be a bit professional and talk about, obviously, David Ramsey's directing all these Arrowverse shows. He's very awesome. He spoke about specifically all the shows he's doing. But he also spoke about his Green Lantern arc, which I think is very exciting because he finds this ring, he rejects the offer, but he keeps on getting headaches and he keeps on hearing voices. He did confirm his cosmic destiny will happen and it will be revealed. So that's also very exciting. Ronnie Dodge, her teasing the artwork makes me think it's going to be close to one of them. Yeah, I think that costume, that picture could have been someone from the studio kind of masquerading as a fan, as a little clue to what she may look like, giving us the heads up, and the black hair is there. And as I say, the dark hair, it suits her complexion. I don't think blonde would work. I mean, I ain't got a problem with her being blonde. Obviously, that's what she's like in the comics. But there are other versions of her with dark hair before people start losing their shit as well. So I'm just very, very excited to see what this Supergirl is going to be. Kurt, Manchester United fan, Australia Glazers out. Yo, brother. Yo, Kurt. Kurt has a very, very long YouTube name. I think I'm just going to say Kurt. If that's all right with Kurt. Because basically, in the morning, I have a morning throat, and it's not easy to do these videos for ever how long I do them. But I do try. I do try my best. So, yeah, that's very, very exciting. Kurt, Manchester United fan, Australia Glazers out. Yeah, brother. Ronnie Dodge, there was another fan art with her having a blue cape. Looked sick. Well, that's interesting, isn't it? The Gaming Maniac, I thought this Supergirl was going to be more or less of a one-off solely for the Flash movie. No, absolutely not. Do you think this is the Supergirl for the DCEU moving forward? Oh, yeah. They auditioned over 400 young women. They unveiled her. No one else has been unveiled like she has. She's very important for the future of the new DCEU. She's absolutely not a one-off. Billy Manchester United glazes out. Hello, how are you? Very well, and how are you, Billy? So now everyone's going to call themselves Glazers out. So everyone's name's going to be a mouthful now, isn't it? But it's always great to have Manchester United fans, of course. Tomorrow we have got this Europa League final, which Ole Gunnar Solskjaer must win. Forget his bullshit about trophies masquerading things. You're here to win trophies, my friend. Ronnie Dodge, Walter Hamada and Andy auditioned Sasha, yeah. They auditioned her personally. Very important. She is part of the future of the new DCEU. It proves that they do have a plan. They know what direction they're going. And I really do hope she shares some screen time with some kind of Superman. Kurt Manchester United fan, Australia glazes out. I'm going good tonight, brother. That's awesome. And I'm going good this morning. Very, very good. So very excited to be here to bring the Big Mouth Daily Live. Not much news this morning, unfortunately. Not many interesting articles. So there's nothing really to go off today, but we can chat and you can post your comments and we can have a laugh. And I can share my excitement about Sasha Calais' Supergirl because that's who I'm thinking about today. And I'll never forget her opening video. I thought that kind of thing that Andy did is awesome. The Gaming Maniac. But if she occupies a different Earth, do you think Flash will mesh that well in the current DCEU as an Earth Prime type? Right, let me explain to you what they're doing because it has been explained to me off the record. So basically what they're doing is when Barry breaks the speed of time, right? He creates a new world, brings his mother's back, he saves her life, he creates one new world. That's weird. That bad things are happening. It's not his world. His friends, his Justice League comrades, they're gone. So he meets Michael Keaton's Batman. So it's a brand new Earth. So he loses his speed, just like in the comics and in the Flashpoint Paradox, and he has to get his speed back so he can make everything right. But when he makes everything right, he reboots the entire multiverse. And what happens is all these Earths are still different, but basically the wall of the multiverse has crashed, which means anyone can cross over to anyone's Earth, which means any piece of canon, Burton's, Bryan Singer's and Dick Donner's, all the kind of movies and TV shows you've seen in the past, present and future, everything now will be canon and will be part of the same universe. So that's how you can get Brandon Routh's Superman crossing over and things like that. So basically, the Gaming Maniac, you're pretty spot on, yeah. So it is an Earth Prime type of thing, but the thing is, there are going to be different Earths. And I do foresee a multiverse Justice League as well, which is a lot more exciting than just having a Justice League of one Earth. It's going to be a multiverse Justice League, and I believe President Superman, the Superman of colour, will be the head of this Justice League. And I don't know if he's going to be introduced in Flashpoint. That could be interesting as well. So this is why it's called a multiverse strategy, Gaming Maniac, because all the Earths, although they're still separate, the wall, Barry does something, not only to reboot the DCEU and the universe, but basically people can cross over, right? People can cross over before you couldn't, right? Now, Barry can because he's got the speed thing. But basically, this is what you're going to get. And so it's all going to be canon. The Burtonverse, the Nolan universe can be canon. Matt Reeves' universe can. It's all going to be canon. It's not just... So people saying, oh, but Matt Reeves, the Batman, isn't part of the DCEU. No, it's part of Earth 2. But Earth 2 can cross over with Earth 1. So that's the kind of thing they're doing. Ronnie Dodge and had to do a chemistry test with Ezra. So that's interesting about their friendship. Kurt, Manchester United fan, Australia Glazers. I think 4-0 Manchester United tomorrow. Wow. Morning. Paul Pogba and Alex, tell us what you think, brother. I'm not sure if Alex is going to play because that would mean Luke Shaw's not going to play, and I can't see that. Ronnie Dodge, with Robert's new deal, maybe he could pop in the Flash movie. Yeah, he's got an overall deal. That means he's here to stay. This means not only will he produce and greenlight scripts and suggest scripts and all of that, it's important for the DCEU. The DCEU is not just going to, after Flashpoint, it won't be one Earth. It'll be a common, basically, we won't see these other Earths so much, but these characters they'll focus on Earth 1 and Earth 2, but these other characters from these other Earths can come crashing down in Earth 2 and Earth 1, and Earth 2 can crash down to Earth 1 and vice versa. That makes things very exciting. So basically what it means is anything DC live action you've ever seen, not just the DCEU, is now canon. The Gaming Manic, I see. So the JL members all just won't be from the same Earth, correct? You'll have the Calvin Ellis Superman from one Earth, yeah, and Michael Keaton Batman on another Earth, but all of them come together to make a JL. Absolutely. And I expect Michael Keaton's Batman to, come to the DCEU Earth 1 and be our Batman. And he will train Batgirl. And, Batgirl and Batman will be part of this Justice League, but he's training her because he's older, right? But he will be part of that universe, right? So we will have a Batman. Now, I don't know what happens to Ben Affleck's Batman. I've been asking about that. That is a top secret thing. Nobody knows in the know, and nobody will at least tell me. And so at the moment, I've been told there's only three. I think there's about 3 people who know Ben Affleck's fate. That's Walter Hamada, Andy Muschietti, and Ben himself. And that's top secret. So people have got all these theories that he's going to be killed off. He could evaporate after the universe is rebooted. Do you understand? He could sacrifice himself. There is a kind of school of thought that Ben's come back just to finish off his Batman in a good way. And I think that's a good idea, so we can say, right, this was his Batman, and he can respectfully finish his arc off. And that's done, right? Now, whether or not the Snyderverse, I don't think the Snyderverse is going to be deleted. It will be, but it won't be forgotten. Do you understand? What's happened has already happened. Andy specifically told us at Fandom that it will be rebooted, but nothing will be forgotten. The Gaming Maniac, man, I love Michael Keaton, but I'd hate to see Affleck go. Listen, Ben Affleck's Batman was never going to be there for the foreseeable future. He was always going to do another 2 Justice League movies, his own movie, but Zack was going to kill him off. He was going to sacrifice himself for the greater good. So a bit like, Stark's Iron Man did. But Stark's Iron Man got a lot more screen time than Ben Affleck's Batman was ever going to do. And also, Ben Affleck really needed convincing to play Batman in the first place. Don't think he just said, yeah, I'm doing this. So Zack's even said that. He needed a lot of convincing. He wasn't sure he wanted to do this. Christopher Nolan couldn't convince him to direct Man of Steel. He was the first pick for Man of Steel. I think that would have been interesting. Ronnie Dodge. Grace was talking ball about Robert's new deal. She's boring and gets off making up rubbish. What did she say about his new deal then? Let me know, Ronnie. Kurt, Manchester United fan, Australia Glazers out. What are your favourite Batman movies, brother? Well, Kurt, I'm a big fan of Nolan. Tim Burton is a unique filmmaker, and I love his first 2 Batman films. They're the only 2 he did. In fact, I also like Christian Bale, a fantastic Batman. What Christopher Nolan did there was amazing. Batman Begins ultimately is my favourite Batman film, and Christian Bale, I think, apart from the voice modulator and all of that, doesn't matter though, he's awesome. The Gaming Maniac, I know, but at the end of those jail sequels, he would have had a huge arc, and we would have had so much time with him. Just feels he's getting cut off too short. But hey, what can you do, lol? Well, the thing is, the Gaming Maniac, you've got to blame Zack Snyder and the studio for that, because they couldn't sit together as a unit and get on and compromise and say, all right, I'll do this, but I won't do this. When you're working with a studio and you're working with their IPs and their money, There's got to be a time when you meet these people halfway. So Snyder and the studio are to blame for not trying to get on to finish this arc, unfortunately, and it is tragic. And I do agree with you. Ronnie Dodge, something about him and Reeves being at loggerheads. I didn't watch the whole video. She makes me roll my eyes. Yeah, what she's doing is because she knows her viewers are the Snyderverse fans. They want to hear shit about them, right? So let's just pretend that these two people don't get on. It doesn't matter. It won't be the first time a director and an actor don't get on. Clearly, Matt is a hard taskmaster. Maybe that was an issue. But clearly, the guy signed an overall deal with WB. So it couldn't have been that bad, right? He's going to continue playing Batman. That's obvious. And yeah, she's either talking shit, but even if it's true, it's irrelevant. Do you get on with everyone at your job? No, it's irrelevant. It doesn't fucking matter. Ronnie Dodge, something about him. Oh, I've read that already. So, yeah, it doesn't matter, Ronnie. It's bullshit. It's like the Amber Heard thing. She goes on about Amber Heard all the time. Amber Heard is going nowhere. Amber Heard is not being investigated by the FBI. She's not going to jail. At the end of the day, Amber Heard is a beautiful, vibrant, intelligent young woman who got with an older guy of influence to get somewhere in the industry. It's old, it's older than you and me put together. At the end of the day, he got with her. She was young and beautiful. That's why he got with her, right? He wanted her at the end of his arm. He got her work, right? And at the end of the day, it turned out that she stabbed him in the back. That's life. That's life. She was only with him, right? She's not the first one to do these things, and she won't be the last. But people want everyone to act perfect, and they think that Johnny Depp is perfect. These two were taking lumps out of each other. None of our business. So, it's all this shit we have to hear. And the type of people who always bore on about Amber Heard all the time. It's boring. It's done. She's going nowhere. It has nothing to do with her job. Ronnie Dodge, no actor stays Batman forever. Sorry. Batfleck fans, the reins are being handed back to Keaton and Pattinson. Listen, we don't know. He's agreed to be in the Flash movie, so we don't know. This is the multiverse. They could offer him something. He could get a spin-off himself. It's unlikely. You're probably right. This probably is goodbye, but at least he has the opportunity to kind of decide how his Batman ends. And he did rewrite Hodgson's script, his part of the script, which is very interesting. So I'm looking forward how much Batfleck we get and how they deal with him. So that's going to be very interesting. But he is a mentor to Barry in the film. Andy said that much. And Barbara said she was very surprised after everything that happened that Ben was willing to come back so readily. So that's great. That's exciting news. So that's going to be awesome that the Snyder Cut wasn't the last time we saw Ben. So I'm excited for these things. These are not negatives. We can twist everything into a negative. We'll see how everything ends up. But we don't know what's going on with Ben. If I can't find out what's going on with Ben, no one's going to know. So at the end of the day, we're just going to have to wait and see. We can have our theories that he's gone after this. But part of me thinks if they wanted him gone, but then again, they had to include him. That's the thing. They had to include him because at the beginning of this film, we're kind of continuing after Justice League. It's that world kind of thing. So he had to be there. Ronnie Dodge, I would have a geek out if both Batmans meet. I'd have a geek out if Pattinson's involved in that film as well. That would be nuts. But we will see. We will see. It's kind of interesting, isn't it? It's a bit like the Day of the Doctor, the anniversary special, when we see all the doctors, and then Capaldi goes, and I'm 13. And that was an awesome moment. So we could see something like that happen. This Flash movie is a bit of the Day of the Doctor, kind of like the Doctors kind of being together, Smith's and Tennant's Doctor, and we're getting these different versions of Batman. So these crossover, this is what I'm talking about. People want to see an interconnected universe. But instead of it just being the DCEU, it's a multiverse interconnected universe. That's why I've always been excited about this, because this is what people want. People want the fun, the interactions, characters crossing over. It's what people want to see. It's why the MCU has been so successful. And we'll see going forward how successful the MCU is going to be. That's very interesting. But yeah, the multiverse strategy for me is very, very exciting, and I can't wait to see how it all develops. Where are we? Right. Ronnie Dodge, especially with the rumour that Keaton's and Affleck's Batmobiles filming together in Glasgow. Yeah, that will be interesting. Now, if they're actually together because they're just there and they're filming separately, that could be one thing. But maybe Batfleck crosses over with Keaton, because isn't Glasgow where Keaton's Wayne Manor is? So that's interesting, right? So this film could be absolutely nuts with the crossovers, and it's exciting, right? It's a multiverse story. This is what people want to see. Now, it may not be what elements of the Snyderverse fandom want to see, but the mainstream, the broader audience, this is the type of thing. These people are excited. Excited. Leroy Kong is back again. The Snyderverse can work in the multiverse. Do it the right way. Do something unique. The Snyderverse was a fantastic thing, Leroy, but I think it's pretty obvious from what Zach says they don't want him, and that's sad. Because I absolutely, let's be clear here, let's be crystal clear so no one misunderstands me, because I'm losing a lot of followers, right? So I want to be clear, I adore Zack Snyder's DC trilogy. It is beautiful. They're great films. I personally don't have issues about them, but I do speak with a balance, and I will say maybe they could have done this instead of that, and that's fine. And maybe Warner Brothers and Zack should have worked together better as a unit. And I think that was selfish of both of them, because in the end, who got hurt? The Snyderverse fandom, because they couldn't get on. They told Zack not to shoot any extra scenes with the Snyder Cut, and he did anyway. These are the type of things you should not be doing. You should be getting on as a unit, you know, and he's admitted these things, right? He says, and then in the next breath, he says, well, I didn't do nothing wrong. Well, you did, mate. They told you not to shoot. They're in charge. And you shot. You shot scenes they told you not to do, right? Now, I'm glad you shot what you shot. Don't get me wrong. It's great, and it's funny that you kind of did something you were told not to do, but it's not the way we should be conducting ourselves. Ronnie Dodge, I adore Zach as well, but sometimes you have to give other things a chance and move on. Well, listen, I would have loved, and I still would love to see the other two Justice League movies, the Batfleck thing and all of that. I would love to see that. So who knows what the future holds there, but for now we're creating this multiverse strategy. Now, I'm a sane-ish person. I'm a bit nuts, as you can see from my dancing vids on Twitter and Instagram, but I'm half sane, and I think a half sane person would say, when you're doing a multiverse strategy, there's no reason why Snyder can't be involved. But the problem is, unfortunately, they couldn't work as a unit. And you know, that's somewhat disappointing for me. And as I say, who gets hurt? The fans. Ronnie Dodge, but he didn't listen to the studio, but filmed it anyway. So can you blame them for not wanting him back? Sorry. No, you can't blame them. You can't. Obviously, he wasn't treated very well by them, but at the end of the day, he was he was a party crasher they never wanted, and that's disappointing. So let's see what they give us, right? We're going to have to look at them and analyse them the same Zach's analysed. They're not going to get a free pass from me. I will judge them on each scene, each movie, and I will deem myself, for my personal opinions, if I like where we're going here. And I hope that I do. Leroy Kong, the Hamadaverse will not work. Zack did nothing wrong. You have a multiverse, more than one Earth. His Earth can be Earth 55. WB are fools. I personally, Leroy, agree with you. I think Zack's universe should be involved, and they should all put their personal feelings to one side. And as I say, it's the fans who pay the price in the end. And that's a shame, isn't it? You know, it's the fans who suffer, not them. They'll make money. Zack will make money at Netflix. It's us who love the fucking stuff, right? I think the DCEU is a great franchise, by the way. I've spoken about this so many times. Man of Steel is awesome. BVS is awesome. Suicide Squad is awesome. Wonder Woman is awesome. Aquaman, Shazam, right? Birds of Prey's a half day, I suppose, right? So it's not a bad franchise. Wonder Woman 84. it's a half decent watchable movie, right? But it's just the comparison of the first film that lets it down, unfortunately. And I mean, if you look at the first few movies of the DCEU compared to the MCU, in fact, the strategy, I mean, you look at the kind of money that the DCEU was making in its first few movies. The MCU wasn't making that kind of money, right? You look at, I mean, obviously they didn't cross over characters like Batman and Superman to make nearly 900 million, but you get my point. Ronnie Dodge, I think the Suicide Squad and the Batman will be incredible movies. I mean, James has got a show on HBO Max, and now Robert has a deal on All Warner Media, being a producer. Yes, it's so exciting. It looks like the Hamada Sarnoff plan is very interesting. It's very exciting. And despite the toxicity that's gone on between director and Warner Brothers, I think the plan is a solid plan, an exciting plan. As I say, I believe the slate of the next 5 movies, you've got James Gunn's The Suicide Squad, right? Next year, you have The Batman, you have Black Adam, you have Flashpoint, and the following year, you have Fury of the Gods, Shazam 2. That's 5 movies. I think that's a better slate than the 5 upcoming, apart from Doctor Strange, which is okay and it sounds exciting, and Spider-Man No Way Home. I believe that the DCEU have got projects not just to compete with the MCU, but to outdo the MCU, right? The Batman could potentially make Force Awakens money because it's so anticipated. It's anticipated because they know Reeves is a very good director. So everyone is, thinking, wow. And we've seen a little morsel of a trailer. So we know it's an interesting movie. Ronnie Dodge, I'm probably going to get hate for this. I think Rob could be the best Batman. Well, we'll see, of course. Look, it's difficult because we're all looking for the best version of this and the best version of that. I think he's going to be a great version. Whether he's going to be the best version, that's to each individual's opinion, of course, yeah. And I hope he's an awesome Batman. From what I see so far, I think it's going to be a very unique take. This is an Earth 1, not an Earth 1, sorry. This is a year 1 stroke year 2 story, if you like, right? We're just delving into the beginning of year 2. So that's interesting. Then we go back to year 1 for Gotham PD, which I'm sure Reeves will be a part. I'm sure Robert Pattinson will be a part of as well. So it's very, very exciting. I haven't seen anything in the marketing or anything that I've been disappointed with. All I know is this is exciting. It's a noir story. It's an investigation. There's a conspiracy that links back to the Waynes, which I think is very exciting as well. So this story won't purify the Waynes into these, amazing people. They're part of the corruption. And this is what the Riddler, Edward Nashville, I think his name is trying to expose. Ronnie Dodge, I mean, we haven't seen a year 2 Batman in his early days. I mean, he's young and angry. Yeah, we haven't. We saw we saw a year 1 type of Batman in Batman Begins, but it wasn't like the comics. This is something different. This is unique because year 2 isn't an origin. It's a work in progress. So that's interesting for a first chapter, but then we're going back to year 1 as well, which is also very exciting because basically you get the early stages and then we go on and on and on, and it's very exciting. And I'm very excited for it because we know that Matt Reeves is definitely an auteur. We've seen his Planet of the Apes movies. They're awesome. He's a very talented man, and I like him, and I like his style, and I can't wait to see this film. It's going to be epic. So, as I say, the slate is very exciting. Very exciting. And the slate on HBO Max is very exciting. Then, obviously, we've got other projects as well that are up and coming. So very interesting. A potential Supergirl movie. We have a Batgirl movie that's been greenlit as well. So these are exciting projects. But as we say many times, it's about the execution, isn't it? You've got to get the execution right, or you might as well just not bother making anything. So it's very interesting and very exciting. So I can't wait. I can't wait to see what they've got for us. Just can't wait. Ronnie Dodge, I wonder if Andy will drop anything today, Lowell. I don't know. Still early days, isn't it? But who knows? They might give us something. It does feel like Tuesdays is a news day, doesn't it? So who knows? We may get something big this afternoon. It will be morning in America. That's when they drop stuff. So be around about 2, 3, 4 in the afternoon, UK and Cypriot time. That that's when they'll start waking up and the publications start printing and posting stuff. And so who knows? Anything is possible. But that Flash movie is a very ambitious movie, and I really can't wait to see it. I think it's sensational that Affleck's coming back. I know Keaton coming back's awesome, but I think it's even more awesome that we get to say potentially goodbye to this great version of Batman. Sam Dejan reviews. Why do you keep blaming everything on Snyder? I don't know if your capture of the English language is problematic, or maybe your hearing, but actually what I said was that both studio and Snyder should have compromised, sat together and listened to each other and compromised on a way forward. That's not blame, my friend. And Snyder isn't blameless, believe you me. If you look at it with balance, then you'll know, Sam, that this could have been handled by Snyder and the studio a lot better. And as I said, who gets the blood? Who loses out? The fans, right? So that's why Snyder and the studio can't work together, because they can't work together. They're like two children arguing. Snyder thinks he's right. The Snyder fans think he's right, but he's not always right, and he's not right all the time. And neither are Warner Brothers. So they can't get on. Samsung reviews, they screwed with him twice. So what did that piss his W so much then? Right. Zack Snyder wants to everything his own way. He doesn't want any notes from the studio, anything, even though it's their money and their IP. He wants to do whatever the hell he wants. So it doesn't matter what the studio thinks, whether it works or not. Zack can do whatever he wants. You can't be in an environment like that. You can't work together. There's got to be a 50-50 kind of conversation where you can work together. That's the issue here, Sam. I think you know that. Ronnie Dodge, both Snyder and Warner Brothers are at fault. He's no angel, nor is Ray Fisher. That's true. And I mean, Sam, we can have this conversation till we're both blue in the face. It's done. He at least got the Snyder cut. He got to shoot his little bits. He gave us it. It's great. It will never be forgotten. But it's not happening. It's not happening. So we can sit here saying whose fault it is. The studio are the king. The studio get to decide the future. Now, if their plan doesn't work, then we can go at them and say, you see, you should have stuck with Snyder. If it does work, we can give them the plaudits they deserve. Sanders and reviews, then why did they let him do BVS? Just let him do Man of Steel, then give it to another director? Well, it's simple. They got rid of Nolan and Goya, who they blamed for Man of Steel, because they wrote it. It was their conception. So then they told Snyder, we want Batman in the next movie. Because they didn't make the money they wanted from Man of Steel. So at that time, they had some faith in Snyder. And then Snyder did what he did. The reaction was, obviously very toxic, like The Last Jedi, and they couldn't cope with it. It scared them. This was, this is a multi-billion-dollar IP, and it wasn't reaching that potential in 2 movies. So they had to do something, and they had to change things, and that's why these things played out the way they did. Ronnie Dodge, Zack's trilogy is done and dusted. It's over. I think that's probably spot on. Unfortunately, it's not a situation I'm proud of or happy with, but I don't have the power to do anything else about it. And we've got this new plan. Let's see how it works out. If it doesn't work out, then we can talk about this again. We can say, but we have to see. We have to see. And the first chapter of this plan is James Gunn's The Suicide Squad. So we'll see how people react to that film. But talking about blame and who's innocent and who's not, you'll find in life, Sam, that when 2 people argue or fall out, the blame lies on both sides. It's as simple as that. And just because you support one person doesn't mean that person is totally in the right. Just because people support Johnny Depp, it doesn't mean he didn't do anything wrong in his relationship with Amber Heard, because you don't know. He wasn't now. Sam Lejeune reviews. Mikey Sutton said Henry is still Superman. Yes, I read the article in Geekosity. I think, and I agree. I did a video myself last night on here, Sam, if you care to watch it. I believe that he will cameo in the next 5 DC or the next 4 DCEU movies, apart from the Batman, of course. So I expect him to cameo in all those films. The reason there will not be any announcements about Henry Cavill, because they'll want to keep his cameos as surprises. Ronnie Dodge, I'm gutted, but end of the day, going at a studio is not right. And I've seen fans ripping up little posters with Suicide Squad and Batman in free Snyder Cut DVDs. Yeah, I know. It's very juvenile. It's very boring. It doesn't prove anything. You haven't won anything. But if it helps them sleep at night, let them do it, Ronnie, at the end of the day. What can I say? What can I say? People can do and say whatever they want. You haven't won, right? You got the Snyder Cut. I got the Snyder Cut. It's a great movie. Very soon I will have 4 hours of beauty and a brilliant Justice League film. And it'll be hard for anyone to do a better Justice League film than that on 4K Blu-ray. And I'm looking forward to seeing it. But yes, Sam Lejeune reviews the Suicide Squad, The Flash, Black Adam, Shazam 2, Aquaman 2. Yeah, that's where I believe the cameos for Henry will be. And as I say, you will not get any announcements or anything like that. He will not talk about it because it's supposed to be a surprise. That's how I feel about it. Because cameo appearances are supposed to be surprises. So I expect to see him in a cameo in the Suicide Squad, but of course I could be wrong. But no one will be happier than me, because he's my favourite character after all, right? To see this guy, cameo, return to the DCEU. It's what we all want. Ronnie Dodge, boycotting does nothing, in my opinion. They don't think of the general audience. Well, listen, that group of people boycotting will do nothing, because you see a lot of people in the Snyderverse will not boycott. And they're arguing between themselves whether they should boycott or not. So not everyone will boycott. They won't make a difference. You're right. We're talking about China. We're talking about globally. We're talking about movie theatres opening back to normal. We've seen Fast 9 doing pre-ticket sales from pre-COVID box office times as well. So that proves it. They are not going to hurt the Suicide Squad. People want to see the Suicide Squad. People want to see the Batman and all the other movies. And you're not going to stop it. And I know they think their propaganda on the internet works, but I'm sorry, those days are over. Sam Jan reviews. I want him in Wonder Woman 3 and the Green Lantern series. Don't know about that. We'll see, though. We'll see. I have no information about that, and I don't think anyone has any information about that. But we will see. Nobody knows what's even happening with Wonder Woman 3 right now. But if Mikey Sutton says it's going to be the 3 of them in that film, wow. But would it be Ben Affleck? Or would it be Robert Pattinson? Henry Cavill's Superman may need to make friends with a new Batman, which would be epic. You see, the problem is with doing an old Batman. Doing an old Batman's kind of cool when you know that Batman and you've been following him for years, but just throwing him in like that, it's difficult. Ronnie Dodge, at least the DCEU movies will be shown in China, unlike the MCEU at the moment. Yeah, very interesting. But is Eternals going to be in China? I'm not sure about that. We don't want to send the poor Chinese to sleep, do we? It's funny, though, MCU stands are funny, though. How can you get excited about the Eternals? I suppose they know the Eternals, so they're excited seeing them in live action. But what we got in that teaser wasn't a teaser, it was a borer. I don't see how anyone can get excited by that trailer. That ain't good marketing. I mean, China is a very difficult place to sell movies to, because obviously, and this is a controversial thing to say, they have very old-fashioned racist issues, and they have issues with women as well. So it is difficult. it's difficult to sell movies to them. And I think the Joker movie didn't get into China, and it still did $1 billion, which was sensational. So yeah, Ronnie Dodge, that trailer bored me. I would rather watch a log. Yeah, I mean, I've never been excited for this film. We all understand what they're trying to say, you know. Miss Sayek, Selma Sayek, or whatever her name is, saying it's all about being seen, not about your character, not about the movie, not about the franchise. It's about everybody being seen. I didn't see any Greek Cypriots there, sweetheart. And by the way, Miss Hayek, you got handpicked. There could have been many females from different minorities who could have got that role, but you're famous and you got the job instead. So please don't talk to me about being seen. You were handpicked. That's how Hollywood works. I forgot her name. It's Selma Hayek or something like that. Every article you read, and they're always talking about women and races and representation. They're not actually talking about the projects. It's bullshit. And the more you do it, you put people off the projects and you lose money. So it's up to you, Hollywood. It really is. Are you in the business of politics, or are you in the business of making films and entertainment? Ronnie Dodge, it's basically MCU's version of Wanna Be New Gods. Basically, yeah. But it's created by the same person who created a New God, which is interesting. And it's interesting that guy's ancestor said great things about the Snyder Cut and what's his name? Dark Side. Something that tells me he's not going to give the same compliments to Eternals. Leroy Kong, the New Gods movie would be great, not with Ava DuVernay directing it, my friend. Bring in a new director, but not her. I'm afraid she has a lot of issues. That woman is obsessed with politics and race, and I'm sorry, I'm not interested. And I notice her new series has been green-lit. On the CW, How the Mighty Have Fallen, eh? Leroy Kong, I know, with Zack Snyder. That would be good. That would be good. Unlikely, but good. Ronnie Dodge, Jack Kirby is a legend. He is a legend. And that trailer is nothing like what Jack Kirby created. They have created Eternals for a representation and inclusion strategy movie. That's all it's for. It's not to respect anyone. Ronnie Dodge, Ava is doing that dceu show, Naomi, I know she is. And I won't be going anywhere near it. So thank you, Warner Bros., for dumping her on the dumping ground where everyone's shit apart from Superman and Lois goes, of course. That's where she deserves to be. She's not a particularly great creative. All she cares about is politics and race. And I'm not interested in what she's interested in. And if you ever see her story on Instagram, so toxic. Leroy Kong, the SJW ruins everything. Yep, they do. The alt-left, my friend, they're obsessed with their politics. And they have infested the entertainment industry. And it's only one political opinion. Now, it doesn't mean I support the right. What I mean is the right and the left should both equally have messaging in their films. And then the audience can make their minds up. If you really need to have politics in your films, I wouldn't have politics in my films, but you know what I mean. When you're just talking about one side of the political argument, that's authoritarianism. That's fascism. And that's what we're seeing now. Their representation and inclusion structures are more like fascism than actual representation and inclusion. When you only cast black people, but not Asian, not many Asians or more Native Americans, and people like that, that's not equality, right? Why are you casting many Native Americans but loads of black people? That's not equality. That's not a balance, is it? And no one seems to be able to answer. Oh, I know why. Because of what happened. with the person of colour who got murdered by the policeman. And all of a sudden they've decided to give every black person a role in Hollywood. So that's not representation. That's not inclusion, right? That's reacting to a public event. So you look like you're on the right side of history, but you're not. Because what happens then is you move a lot of talented people out. You bring a lot of people just for the sake that they're of the colour of their skin. Some of them are talented, of course, but then there's an imbalance, isn't there? Removing white faces and white voices and replacing them with black voices and black faces is the same thing as what white people were doing 30, 40 years ago by not representing people of colour and other minorities. So basically it's revenge. It's not representation, it's not equality, it's not inclusion. It's revenge from the alt-left, and that's all it is. And that's my opinion on that subject. Ronnie Dodge, thank God that they more Latinos ain't getting a shot in the DC movies like Supergirl and Blue Beetle. Yeah, there's not a lot of Latino representation in the entertainment industry, so I'm so happy about Sasha getting an opportunity because she's great and she deserves it. And she's going to be a great Supergirl. Basically everyone knows what equality means, and what we're seeing in the entertainment industry isn't equality, it's revenge. And we all know that. They can call us mansplainers to kind of disassociate what we're saying. It's up to them. But these are just people who certainly are not on the right side of history. Ronnie Dodge, I mean, I'm glad more Latinos are getting more shots in DC movies. Sorry, my spelling is shocking long. No problem. I can normally read through spelling errors anyway. We're not going to slaughter people for their punctuation or spelling on this platform. That's for the punctuation Nazis, right? And there's something wrong with those people as well. Something not right with people who put down other people, who make mistakes, who maybe had learning difficulties as young people like I did, right? There's something wrong with you if you put people down for punctuation errors and spelling errors. There's something wrong with you. And if you can't handle that, because I know some of these people can't handle those errors, then you need to lock yourself in a room and don't interact with anyone, right? Get a counsellor, right? They can help you. And then you kind of people who treat people like this with learning difficulties, then talk about compassion and being kind. You should practice what you preach. But Latino representation is great. We don't have enough of it, and it's awesome. You normally get a lot of Latino representation on TV and in soap operas, especially in America, but you don't get it in the movies so much, right? I mean, the only Latino representation mostly in the movies is Michelle Rodriguez. And I don't think the way she made it in Hollywood is the way you should be making it in Hollywood. Ronnie Dodge, I'm so excited to see Sasha Supergirl with short hair. It's different and unique. Yes, it's going to be interesting. Yes, she's going to be like that kind of the Supergirl from the streets kind of thing. That kind of thing, which I like that. Someone who's kind of world weary, someone who's a bit angry with the world. It'll be kind of cool and interesting. So I can't wait to see what they're going to do with her, for sure. But it's going to be awesome and epic, everyone. Awesome and epic. So if you're going to leave some comments, leave them now, because in the next minute or so, I'll be signing off for today's Big Mouth Daily Live. Sorry there wasn't many great articles or any big news to kind of get our teeth stuck into. Unfortunately, I can't force the entertainment industry to give us stuff. But yes, hopefully a bit more when I come back for Big Mouth Live tonight. I hope you've enjoyed the Big Mouth Daily anyway. Ronnie Dodge, do you want me to send to you the other Supergirl art with the blue cape? Yes, please, Ronnie. I'd love to see that. Love to see that. Thank you very much, Ronnie. So if you're rewatching this video, comment down below, like, share and subscribe, tell everyone about me, come follow me on Twitter at Movies TV Mad, and I'll be back 6 p.m. UK time live for Big Mouth Live, your host with the most. I was Mick, I'm still Mick, I'll always be Mick until I regenerate to the next version of Mick. Until then, Leroy Kong, in the current DC Comics, you have Infinite Frontier, a 6-part major event. Darkseid is coming to invade the DC multiverse. Calvin Harris is leading the Justice Incarnate with the help of Barry Allen. That, Leroy, is what they're adapting for the live-action universe. And I think you may get post-credit scenes of them teasing that as well. That's a great story. I like that story, and I'd like that to be adapted in the new kind of direction we're going with the DCEU. So fingers crossed, and it looks like that's what we're going for with this multiverse strategy, which is ever so exciting. Ronnie Dodge, do it right now. See you later, mate. See you later, Ronnie. Thank you, Leroy. Thank you, everyone, for taking part. I will see you tonight for Big Mouth Live, 6 p.m. UK time. Until then, check me out. Check out what I'm doing over on Twitter. Until then, see you tonight. See you later. Bye then.